important topic, of which it has come to our notice, especially from our viewers, from our friends and our supporters online, who have been asking, Christine, how do I come to Dubai? Christine, which job do you do? Christine, what can you tell us about the jobs in UAE, Dubai, Sharjah? So we are going to be looking at the common jobs in United Arab Emirates. We are going to be looking at how to get these jobs if you're already in United Arab Emirates. Also, there's this that came up that we have at least to advise our people. The question was, are there scammers in United Arab Emirates? Let's begin as we remember this one has hashtag interact with Jude. Fortunately or unfortunately, Jude is not yet here, but he will be with us very soon. So let's begin with the common jobs in Dubai. First and foremost, in Dubai, there is a lot of things that happened as far as employment levels is concerned. After the epidemic, the employment levels drastically changed, rose by 2%. None would accept it, none would even believe that it is going to rise up, knowing that UAE suffered that massive pandemic, whereby most of the people, most of employees and employers were redundant. It increased by 2% to 5% for when you compare it with 2018. So what are the most common jobs in United Arab Emirates? Did you know that in United Arab Emirates, the first and foremost is engineering? When we talk about engineering, we mean three of engineers. We'll go for MEP. What do we mean by MEP? MEP is mechanical engineers, electrical and plumbing. Remember, the industry in Dubai, especially for infrastructure, is very high. People are building every day. Companies are building every day. So if you have experience, you have something like, you have that purpose and zeal as far as MEP is concerned. We have some of our staff, some of our partners and presenters who are engineers. They'll confirm to you. If you have it, Dubai is the best place for you, because construction projects continue on a daily basis. So that is the first job I would recommend everybody out there. If you're coming to Dubai and you have MEP certificates, you're most welcome. Then we go to sales consultant and sales associates. There are a lot of people don't know how to differentiate between the two. Why is it so? Because these two, sales consultants and sales associates, they all have one goal. What is this goal? The goal is one. Are you in your country? Especially my people who have been asking me, which jobs can we get in United Arab Emirates? For sure, in United Arab Emirates, if you have skills, if you have that purpose and focus in sales, you'll get this job. The difference between the sales consultant and sales associates is almost the same. Only that the sales consultants, they aim at looking and fetching for new customers, clients. They go out and look for them. But for sales associates, you are stationed somewhere. And you know, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, UAE at large, they need sales associates because they have businesses. It is a home of business, it's a business hub. So if you have the skill to sell, to convince a customer, if you know you can have the matrices of sales, you know how to oversell, this is the right price for you. I'm very sure they are going to ask you around 3 things in sales. Even if you're a sales consultant or you're a sales associate, they are going to ask you about one, they'll ask you about the guest, that is a customer. How do you see a customer? Even if you're from Nigeria, you're from Uganda, they are going to ask you about the customer. How do you maintain the customer? They're going to ask you about how are they going to benefit from you. Are you going to be a product? Are you going to be a variable to them? So that one, it means you have to have matrices. You have to know exactly what you're supposed to do as a sales associate, how to increase it, how to increase sales, and how to make sure you keep the customers. So that is the most important job and a common one in United Arab Emirates. Did you know that real agents, especially real estate agents in United Arab Emirates, are on market? Remember, they get enough cash. Those are real estate agents. Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Ras Kaima, every day, the infrastructure they are trying to make up. Real estates, they are putting up offices, they are putting up accommodations, they are putting up all sorts of structures. So there is a market for you. If you know you can stand in for your company and say, I can bring in customers to take up these estates. I have friends around here, they earn good money. So do you have that experience? Do you think you can fit in the market? From wherever you are, Dubai can be a best home for you. Then you cannot have all of these ones in UAE and you fail to talk about customer care service. Customer care service in United Arab Emirates is very much needed and is marketable. How is it marketable? By the way, all these businesses we are talking about, all the offices we are talking about in Dubai, you hear they tell you Dubai is a hub of business. It is a tourist country. UAE is a tourist country. Yes, it is. But they need people standing for them. And those are the people who are called customer service staff. Customer service staff, you get it, by the way. You will have to stand in for your company. You'll have to answer queries. You'll have to make sure that you follow up the leads. You have to make sure that you foster a strong relationship, because it is you who is going to bond the customers with your company. So if you know you have skills in that, you have certificate in that, you're there to go. So I recommend you to do it. You can come to Dubai and do that. Then another important one, which I know most of us know it, but we don't know exactly how do we start and where do we go. It is about hospitality and tourism professionals. Hospitality and tourism professionals, those are service-oriented jobs. Service-oriented jobs, what do I mean? We go to something like lodges, hotels, we go to accommodations, we go to restaurants, we go to parks, cinemas. Mention all of them. If you mention all these ones, are you a waitress? You hear about waitress. All of those ones are service-oriented staff. They are giving service. If you know you're good at serving food, not only serving food, especially from people from some country, it's not about serving food. It's also, you go extra mile. You have to make sure you know what you're serving. If you know you can do that, you Dubai, Sharjah, the 7 Emirates are good for you. You can come and you can have a job both as a waitress, as a waiter, as a concierge, as a barista, chef. All these ones are all in hospitality and tourism professionals. This we have, if we always know the most people who are being paid well, by the way, are teachers and teaching assistants. Do you have a qualification? Do you have a certificate? Do you have that experience from wherever you're coming from? This is major to the people who have been asking me about jobs. For Immaculate Show, we don't provide jobs, but we tell you what is here in United Arab Emirates. I know my counterpart, that is Jude, would talk much about it, because he has been here for a long time. So as long as you're here and you have a certificate as a teacher or as a teaching assistant, you are ready to go. I'm telling you, they are marketable. And especially if you have like something added on being a teacher, you have administration in it. If you know maybe how to care for the special groups, UAE will welcome you with 2 hands. So then we have this type of job, which is very common. However, I don't talk much about it, but it's common because you will see it everywhere. That is housekeeping and cleaners. Housekeeping and cleaners is everywhere, and it is on market. It is on demand. Every mall will have to have a cleaner. Every business needs a cleaner. Most homes, they need cleaners. Offices, call it, I think, almost 360 degrees of stay in United Arab Emirates. They need cleaners. Those are housekeepers. Let it be in restaurants, they need them. So if you're good at that, also there's a high chance that you'll get a job in United Arab Emirates. We have most common jobs also in maids. I'll not talk much about maids, but if you're ready to go in someone's home and be there and say, I'm doing it, maids on market, because they're the way it is. So if you know you're ready to be a maid, in United Arab Emirates, they're always asking for this. One of the most recent and coming up post in United Arab Emirates, and I feel in the whole world, is blogging and social media marketing. Before we started, we used not to think that this is a job, but this is a big opportunity. In United Arab Emirates, every shop has an online shop. And you have an online shop, you have to make sure that you sell. Like my company, I think 70% of sales come from online. We have different types of online. Are you going to click and you collect from any store? Are you going to ask for home delivery? That is e-commerce. So if you know how to do blogging, if you know how to do websites, if you know how to do good content online, companies are there waiting for you. Even ImmaculatesShow. So if you know you have experience in marketing as far as e-commerce is concerned, United Arab Emirates will welcome you because it is one of the competitive posts that is now on market. If you know you're a talented writer, I told you before, talented writers are now on market in United Arab Emirates. So be there to tailor yourself. Be there to go in the market. Come in United Arab Emirates. It's not rosy, as we are going to see how to get the jobs and how long can you get the jobs. This is, by the way, if you know you have been sending me a message about jobs, this is the exact thing. These are the common jobs that you find in United Arab Emirates. We have very many jobs. You can get nursing, administrative assistants and administrative officers. We have cashiers, accountants. There are very many in United Arab Emirates. But exactly, these are the common ones that you reach here, whether you have qualifications, whether you have papers. You can be a real estate agent. If you have qualification or not, you can be a waiter. You can be sales. So you can do anything as long as you're here, as long as you have passion. But let me come to this. Why is it the employment rate? Most people are hanging around. If you're in United Arab Emirates, you'll throw me stones if you hear me telling you that the employment levels are rising in United Arab Emirates. Yes, they are rising because employment levels is calculated depending on the people who got the jobs in these recent years and the people who got jobs or who had jobs in the other years. However much, people on the streets looking for jobs and they don't have jobs. But then, how do you think, like now you've seen Immaculate Show, they are saying that these are different jobs that we can have in United Arab Emirates. How do you think you're going to get these jobs? Me, I was here for 9 months and above. How did I first get my jobs? I will use that experience and the experience that is around us. So these are tips to get jobs in United Arab Emirates. Be with me. Let's move through this. First of all, I called it to get a job in United Arab Emirates, you have to sort out your brand. Most people will wonder, what is Christine talking about? Sorting out your brand. I look at you as a product. When you come to United Arab Emirates, you have to package yourself. You are going to advertise yourself to different companies. How are you going to advertise yourself? First of all, it's your CV. Your CV is going to be your advert. And how is it going to be your advert? You have to make sure you tailor it well. In United Arab Emirates, people are many looking for jobs. Companies also many looking for you. But how sure are you that your CV is going to be among the first 5 people that they want? Talk less, it is going to be among the first 20 they are going to call for an interview. First of all, you have to know the job you are applying for. For example, if you are applying for the job of waitress or sales associates, let's talk about that. How are you going to advertise yourself with a CV? You make sure that CV, it is short and precise. If it is short and precise, it should be talking about you as a product. It is selling you to the employer, to that man that is going to look through your CV. The first 3 sentences should pick out. Let their system that is speaking the machine that is speaking the keywords not miss you out. If your sales associates, if your CV has nothing like upselling, your CV has nothing like customariality, how do you think you're going to get a job? It means your CV will never be captured in the system the company is using. So that is one. If you cannot do a professional CV, just visit professionals. We have different professionals. Me, myself, I know some of the people who can make for you CVs. You make sure that your CV portrays, is linking to the job, your past experience, and at the same time, your variability online. Because if it is showing you have some documents, maybe you've been doing some documents about anything on your job description and it is online. Now employees normally revisit you on your websites. They revisit you in your accounts and see exactly who is this Christine. If Christine is really applying for the job of social media manager, let me see her account. If they visit your account, they should see exactly what is there. So that is very important. Make sure in your CV it is tailored well. If you cannot summarize it well as yourself, there are some sites where they can show you how to make your CV better. If you can't do it, visit a professional. But you make sure there is your embellished skills, there is your brand and online presence, and also the keywords they are searching for. In sales associates, there are some keywords because you're going to sell. So those keywords of sales should be there. How do you do conversions? How do you do this? How do you upsell? How do you bring in more customers? How do you maintain a customer? They should be there. Then, most of people in the United Arab Emirates are on the streets, yes. But can we consider this? registering yourself on job sites. It's hectic. I will not say it is simple. I know most of us, we've done it. I did it. You might not even reach in the middle. For registering yourself or your CVs online, you have to be patient. You can visit, like, for example, LinkedIn. It is very common and it is taking people in United Arab Emirates. Gulf Talent, Indeed, Monster Girl, Bait.com, and Lemon. There are very many. And these are the legitimate. They are very legit that if you put your CV there, it's hard. I don't think they are scammers. So while it may seem futile, yes, I know I've been there. Registering, yes, is very hard, but try it. Because it is one way for you to get started on a job hunt. It will be tiresome, I know that. But try it. For people who are looking for jobs and who are coming to look for jobs in United Arab Emirates, don't forget, if you're going for jobs, if you're looking for jobs, don't forget compile contact list. I'm in love with this. Yes, it might seem sophisticated for most of us, but it is not sophisticated. Because now we are in the era that we have to be sophisticated also. What do I mean by compiling a contact list? The moment you are applying this, they put these confidential adverts there, you apply, you don't know what you're doing, who is even receiving. But the moment you get a contact there, just keep it. The moment you go for any interview, get that contact that called you. Get that contact and write it somewhere. Pile it. Put it in Excel sheet. Put in Excel sheet the name against the company, against the telephone number. Keep them. They might not call you today. Next 2 weeks. Yeah, there are some people that have called after 2 years. But don't wait for that. When you compile a contact list, the contact list gives you that zeal for you to be confident of where you went, what you did, and what you have. So sometimes get in your free time. Just get it. Get the contact list. Make some calls. It's not easy, as I told you. I've been there. It's not easy to call when you know you're spending and you don't know what is going to come from there. Sometimes out of 10 that you're going to call, 8 will not give you a good reception. I'm very sure others will slam you down, will put the phone down. They will not even take you to the HR. But out of 10, 2 might take you to the HR. And you never know, that would be your job. So remember to take this tip. Compile a contact list for every company that you happen to get, and you go there. Compile it. Don't just do interviews and go away. Another one that most people are missing it out, and it makes them be like it's too much for them. I encourage you. Most people didn't know, like Christine, me, I got my job from walk-in interviews. But there is a trick on walk-in interviews. If you're coming to Dubai, you're coming to, in United Arab Emirates, I'm using Dubai because it's where I came, it's where I was, it was my first destination. If you're coming to UAE, the first thing you should do is to make sure that you should not miss some of the walk-in interviews. Walk-in interviews, those are interviews that are posted on a daily basis, and they just open it. They open and say, come for interviews. We want maybe a barista. We want teachers of mathematics. Come. Then you all go. Let me tell you, you'll find thousands and thousands of people who are looking for jobs. But what is the trick there? The trick I can tell you, one is time management. Now we'll not talk about time management. If they have put 8 o'clock, be there 6 o'clock. I did it, and that's why I got my job. They put 8 o'clock or they're 6 o'clock. Imagine out of more than 10,000 people who have come to look for the job, they want like 10. Do you really think the way they will interview the first one is the way they will interview the 100th one? No. So get that chance, run there first. You will be fresh, even the interviewers will be fresh. I'm sure if you have all what it takes, they will not fail to take you. So mark the time, you make sure you're there. Secondly, on walk-in interviews, make sure you know what you're going to do. Some people go to walk-in interviews like they are moving somewhere and they tell them there's a walk-in interview somewhere and they run there with a different CV. You're handing in the CV for a teacher and the interview is for a waitress. You say, yes, I can do it. But will you really answer what is supposed to be answered? So you should be prepared. Should be prepared at all times when you're walking and when you're going for walking interviews. Still on walking interviews, never get tired of walking interviews, because those are the jobs that you can be employed on just at the spot. You get a job and move on. That's how I got my job. What is wrong with all these things? Most people tend to lose hope. How do they lose hope? Every day, people are flocking in United Arab Emirates looking for jobs. And you're there, you've tried all these methods I've told you. You've tried going for walk-in interviews, you've registered yourself, everything, you've tried it. But the jobs are not coming. You've made the best CV, but you're not getting a job. What do? You hold on your hope. I think this is the best tip that kept me moving, that will keep you moving. I don't believe in buying jobs. There are some people who buy jobs. I don't know how 100% it's true. But don't lose hope. Hold on it. The moment you don't lose hope, you will walk through it. But almost 80% of people who fail to get jobs in the first 3 months, they lose hope and go home and sleep. You find they're in the accommodation sleeping. How will the job find you? It will not find you. So I put, this is the most important of them all. Living in UAE without a job is very hard. I can't say it's very hard. And getting a job is also quite hard. People should not lie you. Getting a job is quite hard and quite simple. It's two-way. Your time might be simple or your time might be hard. But it's not in any way a reflection of your capacities and skills. No one should ever tell you you've not gotten a job because you don't have skills in UAE. No. Just what you do, plan yourself. If you're coming to United Arab Emirates, plan for more than 3 months and keep your hope alive. What did I really use as a trick for me to keep the 9 months in UAE? I did not waste my time. What do I mean wasting your time? I said I spent more than 8 months unemployed in Dubai. Life was expensive and life was unproductive. But later, when I came to learn we shouldn't be unproductive, I decided to go and enrolled myself in an institute. Another person will ask, where will you get money? Now let's talk about the side of people without money or with limited finances. Try and enroll yourself online. We stay in families, we stay in accommodations. Luckily enough in UAE, people call it free Wi-Fi, but it is not free Wi-Fi because you're paying for it. That Wi-Fi you're paying for, enroll yourself in any activity online that is free, but you can learn something in relation to the job you're looking for. Even you can enroll in another field and make sure you study something. Me, I studied secretarial in United Arab Emirates for the first 3 months, I got my certificate of a secretary in United Arab Emirates. And it gave me a very good reputation by then, by the way. First of all, not to be idle. So don't waste your time. Instead of doing something for you to be something better, you just sleep. No, do something for yourself. That is part of the tips you can use. We have very many tips, but now I'll leave them for you there. There's someone who asked me that really, are there scammers in UAE? Jude would have talked about it very well, because I know is very good in research about that. But let me tell you, in UAE, we have a lot of scammers. When I talk about a lot of scammers, as far as job seekers are concerned, not to go very far, last week, the government was, it tried to warn job seekers over some very many cases that are happening in United Arab Emirates. People are opening up websites, they are opening up job portals, lying everybody, because they know people are many, they are looking for jobs. That wherever you go, you'll see someone is advertising for a job, and they are looking for money. That even $1, they will take it from you. So there are scammers, and very many scammers in UAE. But luckily enough, the government is telling you, please, don't even verify. Me, I will not say don't even verify. But don't come here to buy for a job. Don't buy a job, because most jobs here are not for buying. Jobs are free. So most people have fallen victims. Last week in Dubai, people around 50 and above job seekers gave out money to a company. But later, the company shifted. It wasn't there. And the guy flew to wherever he went to with the money. And you cannot arrest that person. So I kindly urge you, that question me, I will not answer, I will not talk much about it, because I remember even in 2021, the government of Abu Dhabi warned everybody, every job seeker, said, please, this is time for 2020 Expo. Everybody is looking for money. Everybody is putting up a site. Don't give out money for a job. Jobs are free. So, my viewers, especially on Immaculate Show, and whoever you're watching from, please, jobs in Dubai are free. However, there are some companies, recruitment companies, who are asking for money. In the end, they tend to be scammers. So yes, scammers are there in United Arab Emirates. I think I've answered some of your questions, especially to the people who have been asking me the jobs they can get in United Arab Emirates. Some people from Congo, I think I've answered you. Immaculate Show does not give any job, but there are common jobs, and the common jobs are the ones I've given you. Thank you very much for watching us. If you know you have not yet followed us on Facebook, kindly give a like and follow. On Instagram, the same, you can go and follow us, that is Immaculate Show. Then on YouTube, it's there. YouTube is also Immaculate Show. If you followed us and you've been with us, thank you very much for being our friend and our supporter. Remember, you made us. See you next time. Enjoy your time. If you're coming to Dubai, we wish you well. Good night.